This is Tracey from GiftBasketAppeal, and today I'm doing a design team project for Maymay Made It. We're challenging ourselves during the month of July, which is Christmas in July, to create backgrounds on our cards. So let's get started. I am really loving this stamp set. It's called Christmas Instawreath, and it's one of those layering stamps. So I am going to be loving using this. I think I'm going to use this one. I experimented with a couple of these, and I am loving it because it has like the wreath form here. And then it has some wonderful sentiments for the Christmas holidays. Happy birthday, Jesus. Christmas begins with Christ. Merry Christmas. We believe. And then it has the to and from. So you can make tags out of these as well and cut them out, which I thought was nice. And then it has these cute borders on here too. So you can use that. I'm going to be probably using some of these little poinsettias to stamp on my background. I think that would be a great idea. I think I may end up using some of these individual ones as well. So I am going to have so much fun with this, I can already tell. Okay, so if you notice, I'm not using the traditional colors for this card. I thought I'd kind of mix it up a little bit with the this teal zeal, which I thought was really pretty. It's Memento. And I'm going to be using this Distress ink in Vintage Photo. And then I thought I would use this kind of a brownish tan base and pull a really cute card together. So you can always think outside the box and not use the traditional colors, or you can. It's just up to you. Okay, I'm going to start with this right here, and I want that to be my center part of my card. And I'm going to be stamping it right there and layering it. And so I'm going to use the Distress ink to do my stamping with. And let's see, I'll use the teal first. I don't know something about this color, but if you look at my nails, they kind of match. I hadn't realized that. Maybe I'm in the mood for teal or blue this week. Okay, and I'm just, these little inks here, I'll make sure I put everything in the description box below. This is from a set, so if you're like a beginning stamper and you want to build up your inks, this would be a great start, is to get this set. And it's got 12 inks in it. And so I know a lot of times it's very economical to start with these smaller ones and then work to other things. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I think that's inked up pretty good. And so let's see. I want this. I'm going to show you how I layer this. I want this to be right in the center there. And don't be afraid to experiment. This is a really fun stamp to experiment with. And you're actually building your wreath. Oh. Okay, so that's what we got so far. And so I'm going to add the brown in there. Let me just go ahead and wipe this off. I'm making a lot of noise today. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this in brown. Now, if I wanted to, I could have used one of the other ones, which is, I can start with the little wreath form first. Let me just show you what that looks like. But I'm going to do it without the wreath form. I want to see what that looks like without it. So you just have to decide what you want to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and ink this up. I'm actually going to bring my stamp pad right up and ink this really good. And I just had fun watching and seeing how each of these comes out. And I love this vintage photo ink from Tim Holtz. I'm loving it. Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna, so now I'm not stamping directly on it. I'm just turning it slightly. Let me make sure I line that up. Just turning it slightly so I get in between the blue there. Ooh, that's gonna look so pretty. I can already tell. Okay, and look at that. That's how you layer your stamp. Look how pretty that is. You can cut it out in a circle right around it. You can make tags out of this. I mean, so many things you can do with this. Now, the nice thing about this set is in the middle, you can stamp your message right in the middle of each of these. See? Christmas begins with Christ. Merry Christmas, we believe. I'm going to put Merry Christmas right here in the center there. Yep. So take that one off. Oh, I'm loving the way those colors. So you can really mix up the colors. I think it'll be nice to also add some, maybe some like glittery stuff to it. Use your, if you have those Nuvo inks, you can kind of make little dots around this like ornaments. Just giving you some of those, the Nuvo crystal drops. You can add some of those around it, just all the way around it, just like you're making a regular wreath. Okay, so in this brown, let's see, I am going to stamp in Vintage Photo, or I could use the blue. It's just up to you. And I'm just going to stamp right in the middle of here. Make sure I got enough ink on there. And look how that fits right into the middle. Look how adorable that is. So I'm just going to add it and give it a little border right here. Or you can do it in blue. Just depends on what you prefer. Just trying to give you as many ideas as possible. Just put that right on there. If you want something to really pop, just give it a slight border. Of course, my art glitter glue is a little bit stuck there, so I'm just going to take my pen. I keep forgetting to put my pen in that. Keep it from unclogging. Okay, just going to put that right there. Okay, and so that's going to be the focal part of my card. And now we can start working on this part here. Oh, let me show you though what else I did. Here's the other two that I did, just so you can see I've been playing around with it. And I went around and used the circle part, wreath form, and then I stamped it in those colors to see what it would look like. And then I did it again like this and did the we believe. So it just depends. You can keep adding stuff to this. That's the nice thing about one of these layered stamps. So now I have to decide how I want my background to come together. I think I'm going to do these in the blue. I think that would look really pretty, and that's a good size to start filling in. And these actually remind me of stars as well. So I think I'm going to do that in the blue. Let's see what I can find here. Just mount it. I don't need a large block for that. Just need a real small one. And I'm just going to kind of go for it. I do want it in that teal color. Okay, so let's see what happens here. And I'm just going to start in the center here, and then I'll work my way out. already liking the way this is coming out. So far, so good. So much you can do with this stamp set. So imagine I'm already creating my background. I'm starting at the border, and then I'm going to work my way in. And those remind me of stars. They really do. And let's see. So I got that. Let's go ahead and do maybe something smaller. Let's see. I'm going to find my smaller one here. I'm going to load it on this little tiny block here. Still keeping in that same color scheme. I'm going to use this really tiny one. This one is really small, but I like the way it looks. So I'm going to use my Distress ink on this one and do it in brown. Right, so I'm staying away from the traditional colors, although I do have one to show you that I did do in the traditional colors, just so you can see what that one looks like. So I'm going to do the brown in here, in between. So you see how I'm working my way in now. Just kind of in between each of these. Yeah, don't be afraid. If you have white paper, don't be afraid to start experimenting and like coloring them in with some of this, with some of these little, especially little tiny stamps that you have. They can get really lost. And the nice thing is that you can use them to create backgrounds, basically. Just go in there too. So now you have your own pattern paper that's very unique. And this is so much fun. I like the repetitive stamping. I'm going to move this one out the way. Sometimes I get so excited I forget to cover up my inks. Make sure I have this the same way here. And you can just, you want to relieve some stress, start stamping. Great way to relieve stress and create something beautiful. So look how that looks. That is so pretty. I am loving that. Okay, so I just want to make sure that this will fit in here, and it does. And I have a feeling I'm going to end up mounting this so it'll stand out even more. I'm loving that. And I feel like it needs some ribbon, so I do have some ribbon on standby. It's actually like a glitter mesh that I'm going to add to this too. But for right now, I really like the way that looks. Yeah, so see how you create a background for it? I do want something in here. Let's see if I stamp this out in blue, what'll happen. And I might even, you know, I'm going to put some blue right in the corners here. I'm going to stamp this little one right in those corners. We'll see how it looks. But sometimes when you put the card together, you can kind of see what it might need without really gluing it down yet. Okay, yep, that's what it needed. Okay, so let's see how I'm going to do this. About there and there. Let me show you what I'm going to do with that. Let's see, there's another stamp on here that I want to use. Let's see. This one right here. This little one. Let me just show you how I would use that. Now this is a really tiny one. So I'm going to use my little stamp there. And this is actually the same as these, but it's in an individual, which is good. So this is not, it's not glued down yet. I'm going to end up mounting that. And so I'm just going to give this a little bit of a border. I'm trying to stamp in a straight line here. So you see how you're just building your own background on this? Just going to turn it a little bit so I can see. Just a little bit of a border. And if you want to connect them, you can. All right. And look at that. So cute. This is almost like having stitching. It reminds you of stitching. Okay, let's see what we got here. And if you want to keep going, and you don't have to, you can stop where you want, but I don't know, I like this. I feel like I need to keep going. Okay. Let's see where else I can stamp. Making a little bit of a border around it. And this may be too much for you, but you can stop wherever you want. This is just to give you some inspiration and some ideas. That's what it looks like without it. And if I wanted to, you can cut the wreath circle out and just put it right there. It's just another idea. And I still want to leave room for my ribbon too, so. Got some other ideas I want to do with this. But the only way we learn or we create is by doing. We can have every idea in our head. Until we start putting ink to paper, we won't know if it will work. So hopefully you're getting some inspiration from this. Okay, so, and you keep it simple. You can keep adding. I can add more little poinsettias in here if I wanted to. That's going to look cute. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, and this is like a glitter mesh. And I'm just going to put it right along here. And that's okay if I'm going to cover up the star. It's all right. I'm going to put it right there just to give it a little something, extra something on there. I think that'll work fine. Yep. Okay, so this is how I normally do this. I just tape it down. Nothing fancy. Just tape it right along the back here. Right around the center. See? And I'm just using this tape right here. So let me just put that down for a moment. Get my tape ready. I thought this was a one-sided tape. This is actually a double-sided tape, but it'll still work. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this on here. And it's got that glitter in it, so it's just enough. Just enough glitter. Okay. That one down there. Oh, that looks so pretty. It's sparkly. Adds a little bit of holiday sparkle without being too much. Okay, and let's go ahead and put this down on here. Okay, and I got that double-sided tape on there, so I got to make sure. Because I ran out of the other tape, but this is okay. This will work still. Oh, I think I'm going to have to secure that a little bit more. So all you do is just don't use double-sided tape. But I'm just using what I have here. Okay, so this is going to go directly on the card. Just put a little bit on there. I'm just going to put that down there, center it, and look how pretty that brown border looks on there. Really loving that. And then I'm going to use some of this mounting foam to put that on there. Yep. I'll put a little bit there. And I need my little pokey tool. Okay, and that's going to go right in the center here with the border. Ooh, I'm loving the way that looks. And look how that came together. And making my own background that's going to be like no other background, right? And let me show you one of the other ones that I did in the traditional colors. Those of you that want to keep it traditional. Here's the other one I did. And I used the wreath form so you can kind of look at how it sees. And I could actually have added more stuff to this if I wanted to, right around the wreath. But I did add a border in here. Did a little bit around here. Used the red, green, and the brown. And this stamp right here, if you notice, the little mini pine cones is this right here. Let me see if you can see that okay. This one right here, the little pine cone. So you can actually go in and add that in also on your wreath. And that's what made these little brown pine cones on there. And there's little holly on here as well. Holly berries, if that's what they're called. But I just wanted to go ahead and inspire you. This is the last video for this Christmas in July series that we've been doing. I hope you got lots of ideas and you have lots of ideas for your Christmas cards, your holiday cards this season coming up, because as you know, Christmas will be here before you know it. So I'll leave the link to everything, including the Stamp of the Month Club that Maymay has. And give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you real soon. Bye.